All right, it's another Tuesday, which means another team training for our Team Prosperity. We do these every Tuesday at noon Eastern or 9 a.m. Pacific. And really, what we try to dig into is ways to help accelerate your financial services business, your professional growth, whatever it is that you're trying to concentrate on at any given moment. We want to make sure that we provide you with the information, education, training, tools, support to make it happen. So, we got a good training for you today. Before we get into today's training, I always like to review what we did last week. Remember, these are always on the channel, they're in the Facebook group, and they're emailed out for you guys. Last week we covered from policies to profits, how to turn life insurance into big earnings. It's a bunch of agents in the insurance industry that work on production, building a book of business, moving from commission check to commission check. But what happens is the days, the weeks, the months, and the years start to pile up. Have we built a business or have we just built a job for ourselves? We want to build a business that actually works for us and provides something, even if we're not active in the business. That's what the definition of an asset is. If we can move away from the business, it still operates without us and it still pays us. That's a business. So today we're going to talk about front loading your efforts to multiply your results. And it's not a hard equation or formula to figure out. And once you understand this and can get over the initial humps of understanding what to do, why to do it, test it, make sure it works. It's not a hard business, guys, because all you do is just sort people. And once you understand that, you don't put too much emphasis on any one given person, understanding that the lead flows there. My job is to resolve those leads, create the outcomes, let the chips fall where they may. Everything will take care of itself. We are in a contact business. We're not going to escape that. Like one day, your asset, if you do this right, will be huge, and you may be making speeches and things like that. But especially in the beginning, when you're just trying to get your business off the ground, you need to learn how to talk to people about your business. That doesn't mean talk about yourself all the time. And we're going to go through some of the things that we can say either offline or online to get the conversation started. But we're just going to get other people talking. But you've got to initiate the conversation. Some people want to talk, some people don't want to talk. Some people have problems. Some people have resolved their own problems. You're not going to know about any of these things unless you learn how to master the art of communication. And it's networking. It's just building interest in other people, what they do, and showing interest in them to build interest in what you actually do. There's a lot of people out there with financial issues, financial questions. There's also a lot on the other side with the partnership looking for opportunities. If you just learn how to talk to people, create leads, with automation back behind there, you can do some pretty incredible things in a short period of time as far as business growth. In the beginning, you're going to have to create what we call outbound demand and interest and manufacture that on an outbound level. That's why we say master the art of communication so that when you get the inbound marketing, you'll be more fluent and you'll be more clear, concise, and articulate with what you say, how you say it, the inflection of your voice, things like that. But ultimately, you want to move from outbound to inbound. You want to wake up and you want to have appointments on your calendar, people asking you questions, responding back to stuff, things like that. That's what we're going to help you do, but you can never do this if you don't put forth effort on the outbound. The outbound is going to be the educational school. It's also going to be how you get your seed money because inbound marketing does require at some point to throw fuel on the fire so you can get it burning faster and higher. That's going to take money. In the beginning, you want to learn without spending your own money. And organic lead generation is the best way to learn. And we're going to talk about how to do that, how to bridge over to inbound marketing, and then what you really need to bring velocity to this business. No matter if you're doing outbound marketing, inbound marketing, you're doing a combination of both, you're doing traditional marketing, digital marketing, you're bridging over from traditional to digital, you've got to create momentum. And momentum comes from number one, taking the action steps, the stuff that you don't want to do. You got to do that. It's kind of like going to the gym. Half the battle is walking through the front door, but you're never going to go through a workout and then get at the end and say, oh, yeah, I went to the gym today. Same thing with your business. If you take the action steps, the uncomfortable stuff, start making money, becomes easier to do those things. You want to create the action steps with energy. You want to map that progress in the beginning, small victories. Later, it's larger victories. But in the very beginning, sometimes just taking the action step is the victory. So you want to celebrate the progress, depending on where you are in your business model, and you want to grow. If you're not growing your business is dying. If it's not expanding, it's contracting. So there's no middle ground here. It's going to be on either end of the spectrum. You want to grow your business and attract other people that can help grow your business. And after a while, it gets so big that you're going to need some help. And those are called growth problems, and those are good things to have. Having a digital business can be a little bit like a mirage because you're not having to report to a physical office. But I want you guys to think about, take yesterday. Yesterday was Monday. If you ran a physical business, did anybody come in yesterday? Why did they come in? Did you sell anything? Did anybody ask any questions? Did the phone ring? So if nobody came, if you had a physical office or a business yesterday, how can you create outcomes and revenue and income if there's no customers, no clients, no prospects, no walk-through traffic? Your digital business is exactly the same, except it's all happening online. Your job is to create and resolve leads. How do you save time, energy, and resources? Well, you learn how to either let people disqualify themselves by not falling in line and doing what you ask them to do, or you disqualify them. You're not looking to pull everybody through to the next action step. You are looking to pull those people who actually have a reason to do something. There's prospects, there's leads, and there's the ability to turn those leads into clients and partners, centers of influence, whatever it might be that you're trying to do. But you're not trying to pull all these people through. And that's one of the real advanced marketing strategies that I can teach you, is that your gates are not wide open. You got personas that you're dealing with. You got messages to those personas. You got places that you find those specific people. And then you are emailing, calling, texting, hitting them up with direct messages, whatever it is that you need to get in front of them so that they're raising their hand and say yes. The rest of the people, out of respect for their time and your time, we're leaving behind. Why? Because of variable reasons. Most of the time, they don't have a reason to do something. You're not an insurance agent and you're not a salesperson. You're an online business and an online entrepreneur. So what you want to think about on the daily is, how do I make my online business better? Just like Jeff Bezos and Amazon did in the very beginning, how do we create a client experience that is superior and hard to match? If you look at your business as an entrepreneurial opportunity and understand that entrepreneurs, it's not a profession, it's more of a lifestyle. I always think about my business and how to make it better. So if you adapt that mentality, what you're going to find is that odd moments when you're out doing something else, a moment of enlightenment comes about your business, how to fix a problem, how to do something to make it better. If you're like me, it can come in your mind and leave you very quickly. It's good to write stuff down. You can improve your client experience. You can improve your virtual assembly line. You can do a lot of things once you get things in place. Once you create something, if you just think, hey, this is good, I'm never going to revisit anything or try to improve anything, what you're going to find is it becomes stale over time. Just like Henry Ford did with the assembly line, you want to create a digital factory and always look at different parts of that digital factory with the mindset that I want to improve small parts so that the overall factory gets better and better and better. And my time, my energy, my resources to create leads, prospects, and clients dwindles. And I'm creating leads faster at a lower cost. This is called front loading your business. And this is really what I want to talk about today, because if you don't have people coming in your front door, your virtual front door, however you want to look at it, then it's going to be a rude awakening 6-9 months later, a year down the road, when you don't have much revenue or income coming in, and say, oh, this sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. I can't do it. This industry is not what, I thought it was going to be. And there's a lot of people in this industry that are doing the wrong things, not making any money. What we're trying to teach you is the right way to do things, the right way to make money, and do so in a compliant, client fiduciary way, so that every time you answer the phone, no matter who's calling you, you're good to go. The easiest way to create leads is not pitching, not selling, not recruiting. Get the word out. Getting the word out about what? We're in the financial services business, so we're getting the word out on how to get ahead financially. How many people out there do you think would like to get ahead financially that aren't right now, or they're in the process of trying to do so? It's a big part of the population. So anytime you look at a business opportunity, what is my product or service, and how many people actually need it? How many people need financial education, financial wellness, financial information that we have? Lots. So you want to get the word out in a way that creates leads. helpful tips. And we're not going to go through a whole long list of helpful tips in the financial services industry. This is going to be something that you guys can do based on your persona and who you're trying to reach. Personas are very, very important. And then once you create that persona, like I said, create messages with helpful tips that resonate with that persona, that talks directly to that persona, and then offer some value-based proposition behind it.
It's a commission, but that's, you don't, you can take a
Other ways that you guys can get the word out is just the facts. Hey, did you know? Because a lot of people, guys, have the wrong information about money. So sometimes it's just, hey, did you guys know? Did anyone realize? Did anyone know? A, B, C, D, E. And you can just do a lot of research with AI. You come up with facts forever about money. So facts are a great way. Did you know? Great way to get the word out, conversation started. Asking for people's opinion. This is not just in social media posts. This can be in an email. This can be in direct messaging. You want to get the conversation started. Hey, would you rather do this, that, or the other? Just ask for their opinion. Hey, I'm doing some market research. Would not going to have you go to a survey and fill that out. Guys, that's kind of old school. When you say, hey, would you mind filling out this survey before you've ever had any conversation with them? That worked a few years ago. It doesn't work now. So just ask them, hey, real quick, mind me if I ask you a quick question. Would you rather do this, or this with money? Get the conversation going that way. Another conversation starter, whether it's offline, online, through a small group, through an open network, or through a one-on-one communication, just talking about the American dream. Is it still alive? Is it available? Has it changed? Does the old industrial way of thinking still have any chance to reach the American dream? In our opinion, guys, the American dream is still alive and well, but the rules have changed. And if you're playing by the old rules, you're probably not going to reach the American dream. So once again, getting the word out on how to get ahead. And then also, there's so many people that are setting themselves up. I just want to make it through. I just want to survive. What about if you were able to thrive? How would that change your life? How would that change your inner circle? How would that change your legacy? So that mental mind state, that fixed mindset of just surviving. No, we want to open the mindset to growth and talk about thriving. And this is how you get conversations started, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's online posts, or whether it's in small groups, whether that be physical or virtual. How do I win? How are other people winning? Talk about it, because if you're going to do something, like if I'm going to do something that I've never done before, I'm going to seek out a mentor that's probably done it before that can help me overcome preemptively the obstacles, roadblocks, the pitfalls that I may run into or fall into, and that person can help me. So how do I win? How do I get ahead? These are all great ways to get conversations going. And this is need to know stuff. Hey, this is something you need to know. This is how to do this, that, or the other. Not many people know this information. So if you position yourself, not as an insurance agent, but as a financial coach, financial educator, however you want to position yourself, and constantly be giving value-based propositions, how to get ahead, all the things that we're talking about here in a clear, concise, articulate way, a meaningful way, not a pushy way, you'd be surprised how many people are willing to answer your questions, engage in conversation with you, and that can lead to action steps. And then you just flip it. This is how you do it. The one big thing. So when you guys are talking about whether it's, I don't care whether it's tax-free retirement accounts, hybrid mortgage arbitrage, debt to wealth, whatever it might be, the one big thing. This is the method used to help people reach their goals. This is the one big thing that works. But people must believe that your method will work for them. Otherwise, they'll not buy. So that's why personas come in. If I'm identifying a doctor, a dentist, some type of a contractor, an attorney, a CPA, as that type of person, and then directing the conversation towards that type of person, it's going to help versus just throwing out a blanketed one big thing method. Once people believe that your method will work for them, they'll pursue the means to implement the method. So once again, it's not the back end whether or not they want to buy your product or service. It says, do they actually believe it's going to work for them? Once they do, you've got a qualified buying prospect that should be taken to cart checkouts, insurance applications, whatever it might be. But you've got to remove any objections or roadblocks that prevent people from believing you're one big thing. This can also be done very effectively, what we call preemptively. If you've got a persona that you understand and you've really been diving down into, you can remove these objections or roadblocks right then and there, whether it's on the email, the phone conversation, the text message, whatever it might be, before they even bring it up. And then what does that do? That increases your ability to come off as an expert to that persona. So when you're doing your research on personas, what false beliefs do you have that make them think that they can't achieve their goal with the method that you teach? Because once again, why would somebody do something? Why would they not do something? Once you removed all objections, your one big thing must be true, right? And then they're ready to take the next step. When you guys are hitting with objections, understand that if you haven't preemptively overcome those and they're coming at the end, those are buying questions. Once those are all removed, you're moving to the actual checkout part. This is an old school mentality way to prospect. Sell me this pen. We're not going to do that anymore. That doesn't work. What we're going to do is give you something. And that's based on whatever we're talking about on the front side. We've got how-to guides, a bunch of stuff that we give away, master classes, webinars, whatever it is. And we increase those giveaways to make sure that we stay ahead of the lead flow. Because the more stuff that somebody else on the other side finds valuable and they can be willing to put their name, email address, and phone number in a contact form to create that lead, that works for us. That works for them. It's a mutually beneficial start to the relationship because it hasn't been parasitic. They don't feel like they've been tricked in any way. If you start the relationship with value-based propositions in an honest and real way that you want to help somebody, you will create good, solid leads for yourself. The opt-in is the most valuable thing you can create for your digital business. Why? Because the opt-in does two things. It gives you a lead with contact information and gives you a reason to talk to them. Those are two very important things. Now I've got somebody to talk to and I got a reason to talk to them. Doesn't mean that they're going to become a client or a partner. It just means that you created a lead, you got a way to contact them, you got a reason to talk to them. Whatever happens, happens. That's the sorting process. But if you have enough opt-ins, you don't get too like caught up in one lead because you've got enough coming through. If you have a very few leads come in, then you have the pressure that you feel like you got to close these people instead of sort them. Then your business model completely changes and you're running from panic management, just trying to throw things against the wall to see what sticks. So this is how it looks. You got a stranger, goes to a website, becomes a website visitor, fills out a form of contact information to download content or get access to something. Now you got a lead. Doesn't mean, like I said, that you got a client or a partner or anything that on the back of it. Just means you've got somebody to sort, disqualify, or qualify through the rest of the process. If you have a landing page and somebody puts their contact information in and they get something from you and that's the end of it, it 100% falls on you to do the rest of it. And guys, I know for myself and I know from teaching thousands of agents over the past years, most of us are not going to be very organized or effective with follow-up. That's why a funnel system is way more effective because you've got a straight line landing page where everything on the backside has got to be manufactured by me, the follow-up and everything else, versus an ecosystem for a funnel. Once they come in, other things happen. They get on workflows, campaigns, triggers. So the automation, along with your manual input, keeps you on a steady pace of resolving leads. Lead magnets are extremely important. Now, lead magnets in our business can be a wide variety of different things, and we've got a ton of lead magnets that you guys can use. They're not written, even though I write them, I don't say they're written by me. I say they're written by us as a team. And so you guys can use those for whatever you want. But all we're doing is identifying what you need to become great at with the approach and language. So when you're talking to somebody, if they're X, real estate, insurance agent, CPA, attorney, doctor, dentist, whatever they are, here's why. This is going to help you as that person do this, probably with something financial or your money, but that's the easiest way. Give away something that has value, gives them a reason to put in their contact information, get the conversation started. Lead magnets are exactly what they're designed to do. They're designed to create something where people are attracted enough to give their contact information. That's it. If they read it or they attend it or whatever it is, that's great. But if they don't, that's okay with us because it's done its job to create the lead. So this is how you're getting the information out, whether it's email, social, blog, traditional marketing, whatever it might be. This is the audience that it's sending out to. What is the audience seeing? A landing page with a form. That form is an offer given and a lead generated. Now, when a lead generated is our system, you get an email, you get a text, you get an alert, there's automation that goes with it. And hopefully that automation will do most of the work for you. But if not, you come in and do what we call like a manual nudge, which on top of the automation, you're just adding the extra level of sorting. The opt-in opens the gate. What does that really mean? Well, it's a giveaway. So number one, understand what you're giving away. And I promise you that anything that we have as value-based proposition as lead magnets are valuable. They're not flimsy. If you've ever downloaded something with your contact information and felt like, oh, that sucked, that wasn't worth it, your client or your prospect is not going to feel that way with what we have to offer. So we have value, but also read through it. Don't just give away stuff that you've never read before. You have no idea what's in it because you're going to be talking about what's in that if they've read it. Educate the customer. Create content that teaches and guides. Avoid the pressure and hard sell. People don't like to sell. People love to buy. Share content where your target audience is. If your persona is X, find out where X is mostly hanging out, whether that's virtually or physically. AI can do a lot of that research for you. Don't mention your product directly. You're talking about not the product, but the solution, the strategy. Once they opt in, guys, we have additional pages, which means additional information and opportunities. Some people will go through the entirety process. Some people will just opt in, maybe grab whatever it is they want to grab and leave. Doesn't matter to us if they go through the whole process or just the opt-in, we've still got that lead created for us. And that starts the engine. What does that mean? Well, you got campaigns and triggers that are automation. They're sending out emails and texts. Once somebody gives you the authority to go ahead and communicate with them, then you can send out information. And that's what our system is based on, opt-in. Once somebody opts in, we have the right to start communicating with them. They can opt out at any minute, but that gets the engine started on the automation. If you're not around or you're in a meeting or you're on another call, the automation is just like having an AI agent, an extra employee working for you that's always doing the things set on the time that you want them done for that particular prospect. There's different ways to reach. We have email campaigns, two-way texting, ringless voicemail. We have AI voice. You got a ton of automation that you can put into your follow-up now that will greatly help you. And what I've seen is that normally about 80% of the leads that are created, automation will do its work to disqualify, qualify, take them to the next action step, because what's happening is you're getting continuous information in front of those people on a regular schedule, and it gives them the opportunity at any time to do one of two things: take the next action step or opt out. I'm done. I don't need anything else from you. Please stop contacting me. And we don't care. Opt out's a win, guys. And I don't know if you realize that if you're creating, resolving leads, and opt out in a win, because that's not a reason for somebody to do something. If somebody opts out of your stuff, don't worry about it. It's not something against you. So they don't want any more information. That's great. The system done its job. Don't have to worry about this person anymore. They disqualified themselves. Triggers are nothing more than cause and effect. If this happens, do this. And what do we mean? Well, if your prospect takes an action step outside, whatever it might be, there could be one effect or multiple effects happening in the system that are happening on your behalf through the AI agents. Basically, if this happens, do this. I'm instructing automation. If they do this, I want you to do that. Here's what it looks like. There could be a ton of different things that they do. They can opt in, they can reply to something, they can complete a survey, book a meeting, cancel a meeting, they can not show, they can unsubscribe, stop, whatever it might be. These are cause and effect. So if they do something on one side, there's an effect or multiple effects within the system that will go ahead and take care of whatever it is. It says unsubscribe, remove them from the system, mark them D&D, we're good to go. Keep moving. And then campaigns are nothing more than automated series. They're multiple attempts, multiple channels, and they're designed to drive calendar appointments or drive the opt-outs. That's all we want. Discovery calls, calendar appointments, and opt-out. That's all we want. If they're not willing to take the next action step, we'll stay in front of them with good, useful information. But at some point, they've got to take it. What happens with the messages gets more and more direct the older it gets. Hey, what do you want to do at some point? We're sending you these messages. You're not doing anything. Please do one of these two things. Remember, this is where the rubber hits the road, so to speak. If you're getting discovery calls, if you're getting appointments, all the automation and all the leads and all the value-based propositions, the opt-ins and everything, it's coming down to this. This is where you're kind of stepping into the batter's box, so to speak. You got to make it happen. If you're doing this, you got to get good at what you're doing. If somebody else is doing it, make sure they're doing a good job so that the leads you're creating are not just being fumbled by who you're handing it off to. The online meeting is where revenue and income is created. So the discovery calls can set up online meetings, but online meetings is where it's happening. So you need to be professional. You need to understand what the digital experience it is, how to create a good digital experience for your outside prospect. and then, really nail this meeting. Because if you're not nailing the meeting, everything you did before, to set this up is getting fumbled at the end. For every problem, guys, there are solutions. You're not a solution. You're the obvious solution. So when somebody says, hey, there's this, that, or the other out there, recognize that. Sure, there's more than that. There's also this, that, and the other on top of that. But let me tell you the difference. Let me tell you why those are all solutions, why we are not a solution, but the solution. We're the obvious solution. And once you kind of put the pieces together, create the strategy, the system, whatever it might be that you're implementing for people, put the puzzle pieces together and understand the last piece of this. Once you've laid all this out, it's a couple psychological objections that might be tripping them up in their head that you have to get through. But if you've done your job, you sent out the value-based propositions, you created the opt-in, you followed up, you created the discovery call, you created the meeting, you've got to create the revenue and income. If you've done your job, ask for the sale at this point. We're not asking for the sale in the marketing, we're asking for the sale in the consultation of the strategy and the system and the solution. One of the psychological objections, even in the upfront marketing, will be value over cost. People look at cost. What you need to be making sure their mind is concentrating on is the value, whether it's the value of the product with the price, whether it's the value of the value-based proposition. Even though it's free, they got to give their contact information. So what's the value of your lead magnet? What's the value of your discovery call? What's the value of your online meeting, your reports, whatever it is? A lot of that stuff, the value is tremendous and the cost is zero. You only have to battle the cost when it's actually time to sell a product or service. Remember, value is actually what it's worth. What is it worth to change your financial trajectory? What is it worth to turn your debt into wealth? What is it worth to produce a legacy for your kids and your grandkids? What is all this worth? Because what it's worth is the value. What it costs is just the price of something. So what do you want to do from here? It's October the 1st tomorrow, so we got choices. I can tell you that you can dominate by choosing a platform, or kind of like, not a platform, but a lane where you concentrate on clients. You can dominate and make a lot of money in equity and bonuses and overrides and spreads, working with partners. You can also kind of straddle both sides of the fence. You can concentrate on a selection of clients and partners, or like so many people do, they can choose to do nothing. I guarantee you that if you choose a lane and you get better and better and better at that, attracting clients, attracting partners, attracting a mix of both, doing nothing will seem like it's not even on the horizon anymore, because these are effective outcomes. This is what we call a drift. And if you're going to drift, a bunch of white space is going to end up on your calendar, and all of a sudden no money's going to be in your bank account. You're like, I can't do this. Revenue produces income. So if you're producing revenue as a producer, revenue as an agency builder, that's going to create income for you. Just like we talked about a traditional business earlier yesterday. Did anybody come in? Did your phone ring? Did you have any inquiries? Anybody whipping out their credit card, debit cards, or wallet or purse to spend any money with you? If there's no revenue, there's no income. If there's no income, there's really no motivation, inspiration to move forward. And the last thing I'll leave you guys with today is your marketing is designed to create outcomes. If you're looking at building an agency and building distribution, which I highly recommend that you guys do, you need 7 to 10 core business partners. I'm not talking about 7 to 10 partners, 7 to 10 core business partners who understand the opportunity, are willing to go make things happen, and can do the day-to-day activities and be responsible to be able to measure, be accountable, and be able to reflect and get better at what they do. If you get 7 to 10 partners in, and let me help you guys, your agency will be off to a great growth start. And then before you know it, I guarantee you're going to hit a hockey stick growth period where it shocks you and those 7 to 10 core business partners. Then we have growth problems. Then it's a whole nother set of problems. Those are good problems to have, because how do we manage growing, scaling this business? That's what I'm really good at. So if you can get there, my value to you becomes even more.